Hi everyone, I thought I would share how to change an ATG tape, and Scotch really has good instructions. When you got your ATG, it came with a cardboard instruction sheet. I wonder if I still have it within reach. It's the shape of the actual gun. Look at that. There it is. So this is what came with the ATG. So you can certainly see the instructions. It's step by step, A, B, C, D, and how you set the wheel and the tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, and as I'm showing you how I change it, because mine is out. Actually, let me bring my camera up just a little so you can see more. Sorry about my knuckles. So you can see more of my desktop without me having to try to maneuver too much. So press here to open. I'm always fearful of breaking a nail. Hold on, I have to do it off, I'm sorry, off camera, because I really don't want to break a nail, because I know how painful that could be. What is my problem? Oh, could it be because it's already open? Yeah. Okay. So squeeze here, pop it open. Now, one of the issues I had with this roll of tape is I've had the same roll of tape pretty much for the duration of the summer. And it's not that we had a really humid summer, but humidity does affect these tapes. And every time I would go to use it, I don't know if you could see, let me see if I could zoom in. The tape itself, see, this is the refuse part. This is the part that's used up. But you see how it's buckled? That's exactly how it was on this wheel. The buckling was so bad that when I went to go use it, it would get stuck instead of on the actual wheel, on the periphery. So in other words, this part was buckling and the adhesive was getting caught on the edges, so when you would use it and then the refuse part, the wax paper, would go on this refuse wheel, it would get stuck on the plastic. So we have a little maintenance to do with this instead of just changing it outright. So you twist it to open in the direction that it shows you. See how it's stuck all to this? And there's going to be all sorts of goop. If I leave that on, it's going to make my next roll behave as badly. So there's a little release for the used up tape, and I'm just going to pull up the rest of this. It's so, yeah, there's still a lot of residue of the adhesive on the edge, and it's causing a lot of stickiness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up the space, and I'm just using Clorox antibacterial wipe that I have a tub of in my office for things just like a, look, that I have entire strip of the sticky stuff on me, and all you have to do is rub it to get it off of you, but the parts that are sticky on here absolutely need to be cleaned up. So you see that? All that stickiness, all it'll do is it'll create the same goop. So I'm just going to rub this off and then wipe it with a dry paper towel. And if you have a substantial amount, like, let me see, let me try wiping it with a paper towel and then see if most of it comes off. If it doesn't come off, you can also rub it between your fingers, and that should hopefully get the rest of it off. Kind of like this. You want to make sure that none of this is sticky, because if it's sticky, you're going to have the same residue issues. So I just want to make sure that all that residue is removed. You can also use it's a Goo Off or Goo Gone, Gooby Gone. Just make sure you wash the plastic parts that are removable afterwards, so you don't have a lot of stickiness. But let me see. I'm just feeling for any tack, and I think these parts are fine. But just in case, and you don't want to get this wet. You don't want to run this under. You don't want to put this under running water, but you can use a antibacterial. If you misplace this little instruction sheet, the black, see, there he goes. There's instructions embedded on the refuse wheel. So I'm just going to take this out of frame for a second to wipe it, because I want to start off with it completely dry, clean and dry, before I put the new tape on. Okay, so that's all cleaned up. This is cleaned up. Just want to make sure. Yep. And let me see if I can grab my other tape. I think the one that's been sitting in my office is probably puckered just like the tape that was in unless I use that up. Maybe I used that all up already. Anyway, we'll use the one that I just got today, because I know that one's definitely not. And they're packed in sheets of wax paper. I actually leave that because it helps protect it. I'm just going to slip one out and load. Okay. So the instructions show you that you start off, I'm going to zoom in. You start off with a little bit of a tail that's long enough, that does not have adhesive. So you pull off enough to make it around the wheels, around the full spool, and into the refuse section, which has a little notch. So let me pull this off. Let me zoom out. So this goes on the wheel, and they're just a push button. See? Snaps in place, and it's up on the first wheel, down on the second one, and in order to release it, you're going to have to press down on the feed button. And I'm going to see if I can brace this against I'm going to peel off the adhesive off of this because I don't want it on the refuse part. So this just peels off the tape that was on there, and that's enough to feed it. So I'm just going to feed this way. It goes so above the first one, the one that's ribbed, under on the one that's smooth, over the full wheel, and into the little notches right here. Let's see if I can zoom in. So here's the two notches this way. Wait, sorry, notch right here. Okay, so that's fed in. Let me zoom back out. And then this is what locks down the refuse. And there's two flaps, so you just put them, they're opposite where there's opening. You pop it down, and then twist in the opposite direction of open. So that's it. That's loaded. Grab a scrap piece of paper. Press down. There we go. Adhesive. So that's all set. If you find that it gets a little loose, you can open this back up and then just pull this wheel a little more, but this is fine. So that's it. that's the mounting of, or the refilling on ATG. Again, humidity does have an impact on the glue, on the adhesive. So if you have an opportunity to leave your glue gun in kind of a controlled temperature environment, it's better for it. Otherwise, it will do that puckering of the tape and leave all sorts of residue, which will make the tape rip or not roll on the refuse wheel well, and just kind of a hassle. So now knowing that, I will keep the gun probably where we have air conditioning during the summer rather than in my office to get all gooey. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. I'm not an expert by any means, but following these instructions is very easy, and if you don't have the instructions, it's etched underneath the wheel, on this refuse wheel, so if it's lost. But there you go, there's the instructions close up. Thanks so much for watching.